I just finished watching NXT's Halloween Havoc, and Jesus Christ, what a PLE! I enjoyed this PLE from start to finish, and the matches absolutely delivered. Believe me when I say they absolutely delivered. Oh my god. Not a single match on this show was a bust. They were all hits. Banger after banger after banger. Jesus Christ. This was such a good PLE. This was such a nicely put together PLE. I enjoyed all the moments, stipulations, attires, and even the shenanigans we got throughout this show. This was so good. And the audience tonight, oh Lord Jesus Christ, the audience was absolutely electric. This was an experience from start to finish. I enjoyed Halloween Havoc so much. Jesus Christ, this was good. But I do have to be honest with you though. I will be completely and 100% transparent. This video should have been out like yesterday, okay? But funnily enough, I forgot that Halloween Havoc was happening Saturday, and it was today I woke up and I was scrolling through social media and I saw the first spoiler. I saw that Tatum Paxton won the women's championship, and I was like, oh, wait, that was happening yesterday? And I was so mad that I missed it. But yes, I didn't get to watch it live, but I did go back and rewatch the whole PLE. I rewatched it from start to finish. And the only spoiler I got was that Tatum Paxton match. But besides that, though, everything else was a shocker to me. Everything else was just crazy to me, okay? Everything else was just new to me, except for the Tatum Paxton match. But besides that, though, that didn't even ruin the experience for me. I knew it was going to happen, but I didn't even know how good that match was. Jesus Christ. But anyhow, though, I do have to apologize that this video is out a little bit later than my other reviews, so bear with me. But anyhow, though, let's get right into this review. Let's get right into this breakdown so we can talk about this banger of a PLE. But before all that, though, the quote of the day, as always. Quote of the day: the heart heals in whispers, not in thunder. Some days it mends with laughter, other days with quiet tears, and both are holy. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalms chapter 34, verse 18. That is your quote of the day. Now let's get right into this breakdown. So on Halloween Havoc, we started off with our very first match, and it was the young OG and the youngest in charge, Javon Evans and Leon Slater versus La Parca and Mr. Iguana, accompanied to the ring by La Yesca, the puppet, the iguana. And this match was so fun. This match was so entertaining. This was so amazingly unserious. It was so funny. These boys were literally hitting dance moves and emotes mid-match throughout the whole match from start to finish. This was such a good vibe. Like, everybody was just enjoying themselves. They were having fun, and the crowd was just going along with everything. And this match really got the crowd hyped and locked in for the rest of PLE. This was such a good opener. It got energies all high. They got everybody excited, and I was excited. I'm watching Javon Evans hit some Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy emotes. I'm like, what is this? I'm seeing Leon Slater dancing in the ring, seeing La Parca dancing in the ring. I'm seeing Mr. Iguana do his stuff in the ring. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this was such a good vibe from all four competitors. This was so fun. And man, the in-ring action was so fluid. It was crispy, okay? Chef's kiss. This was so fun. All four of these men, they showed up and showed out. And the high-flying moves, the sequences we got, oh my god, this was so good. All the flashy moves, all the tag team sequences were on point. And believe me when I say this, we had bodies flying all over the ring, all over the arena throughout this match. It was bodies left, right, and center. Just move after move after move, bodies after bodies after bodies, dives after dives after dives. Oh my god, this was so fun. Like I said, though, both tag teams absolutely showed up and showed out. And even La Yesca too, believe it or not. La Yesca was beating people up, okay? Even La Yesca was deeply involved in this match. At the end of the match, however, though, the best man, the best team ended up winning, and Javon Evans and Leon Slater were able to pin and defeat Mr. Iguana and La Parca for the win. And they are officially the best tag team that came out of this match, the last tag team standing. And this was such a good vibe, like I said, such a fun match. But after that, though, we got onto our second match of the night, and it was All Ego versus El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. And this was a Day of the Dead match, basically a no disqualification match for the Men's North American Championship. And before I get started, we have to talk about the attires because this was really cool. So Dr. Wagner Jr. came out wearing a Rey Mysterio 1997 Halloween Havoc inspired attire, which was really cool. And I enjoyed seeing that. And Ethan Page as well, he came out with his face painted, half of his face painted. And like the face painting was so cool. He had this Canada made maple leaf on his face along with other cool designs, and it was such a cool attire from him. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. But the match itself, though, the match was crazy. We saw chairs, we saw trash cans, we saw skeleton limbs, we saw steel chairs, we saw tables, and Ethan Page even got busted open. He was leaking halfway through the match, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, both of these men, they left it all out there. They put their bodies on the line for this win. And halfway through the match, after Ethan Page got busted open, Dr. Wagner Jr. even got his mask torn in half, and he lost his mind. He went crazy because that's the ultimate disrespect. You can't rip off a luchador's mask. That's the ultimate sign of disrespect. And Dr. Wagner Jr. lost his mind. The doctor clocked in and went to work, and the doctor got surgical with it. Oh my God. He brought the fight to Ethan Page after that. And like I said, though, this match was absolutely incredible. The spots were wild, and Jesus Christ, did we see spots. We saw so many crazy spots, so many innovative spots. And Ethan Page absolutely shocked me. I didn't think he had this in him. And I said it recently that the match I saw between him and Mustafa Ali was the best in-ring performance I've ever seen from Ethan Page. This tonight was the best ever in-ring performance I've ever seen from Ethan Page. He absolutely did his thing, and this man deserves his credit and his flowers. He's amazing in the ring. And Dr. Wagner Jr. as well, the high-flying moves, these boys absolutely went to war, okay? But at the end of the match, all ego Ethan Page was able to blind Dr. Wagner Jr. with a white powder to the face, and he hit a twisted grin off the top ropes through a table for the win on the Dr. Wagner Jr. And like I said, this was by far the best Ethan Page match I've ever seen him involved in. Anyhow, though, after this, we moved on to our third match of the night, and it was Zarya versus Blake Monroe for the Women's North American Championship. And this was a pretty good match. This was a pretty solid match as well. Both of these stars did a really nice job in this match. I enjoyed it for what it was. We got some cool spots here and there. We got some cool moments. We got some shenanigans. We got interferences, kind of, but the interference was really from Sol Ruka and her own partner, so I don't know if that counts as an interference or not. But Zarya ended up dislocating her shoulder, and Sol Ruka pushed her into the steel post, the turnbuckle, to pop it back into place. So if that's interference, then it's interference. But anyhow, though, this match was really fun. I did enjoy it. We did get shenanigans from both sides, like I said, and we got some funny spots here and there. We even got Blake Monroe attacking an injured Sol Ruka by accident, quote-unquote accident. So that was that. This match was really fun, actually. But besides that, though, at the end of the match, due to some cheap tactics by Blake Monroe, she was able to hit the Glamour Shot DDT on Zarya for the win. And she is our new North Americans champion. And that was that. Blake Monroe is officially a championship holder, a title holder down at NXT. And she won her first ever WWE championship, I'm pretty sure. So that was pretty cool. And after this, we got onto our fourth match of the night. And it was JC Jane versus Tatum Paxley in a women's NXT championship match. Like I said, this got spoiled for me, but I was still shocked nonetheless. This was such a good match. Anyhow, though, during this match, both the Calling members and Fatal Influence members got ejected from ringside. That was a pretty cool moment. But besides that, though, we saw a lot of cool sequences, a lot of nice spots from both these two, Tatum Paxley and JC Jane. So that was a pretty neat sight to see. And we even saw an insane off-the-top rope 450 splash from Tatum Paxley, which was insane. So that was a cool spot, in my opinion. And like I said, this was a pretty good match as well. Both these women did their thing in the ring, but Tatum Paxley especially stood out to me. She showed up and she showed out, and she showed that she deserved to win this championship. So that was really nice. And JC Jane did her thing as well. This was a really nice match. Near the end, though, however, absolute chaos broke out when both the Calling members and Fatal Influence members came back out, and we got this big kerfluffle, this big distraction scene, this big confusion. The ref is distracted, the in-ring competitors are distracted, and the Calling was able to inadvertently, I think, maybe inadvertently or maybe advertently or maybe on purpose, but it looked like Izzy Dame was trying to hit Tatum Paxley in the face with the championship. Tatum Paxley dodged out the way. That's what it looked like. So we don't know what was her intentions, but that's the end scene we got. So due to a distraction and interference by Izzy Dame, Tatum Paxley was able to hit her finisher on JC Jane for the win, and Tatum Paxley became our new NXT Women's Champion. And the crowd absolutely lost their mind. This was such a nice moment, and you could tell how much it meant to Tatum Paxley. She was so happy. She was so over the moon, delighted. Oh my God. And everybody was celebrating with her. The crowd absolutely erupted. It was such a nice moment. And I'm happy she finally did get her moment. She finally got the big one, and it was really nice. And I'm so happy for it. I'm so happy for the moment. It was such a nice thing to see. It was such a nice sight to see. But anyhow, though, after that, we got on to what I think was probably match of the night, in my opinion. And it was Dark State versus the Broken Hardy Boys in a Broken Rules match. And before we even get into the match, so there is one moment we do really need to talk about. And this moment had me tearing up. And I'm talking about some real grown man tears. This was incredible. Brother Nero Jeff Hardy ended up coming out in a Bray Wyatt The Fiend inspired face paint. And firstly, rest easy, the man, the legend, Bray Wyatt. He's gone but never forgotten. Rest in peace, rest easy. So Jeff Hardy came out with his face painted, inspired by the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. And it was so cool seeing it was so cool seeing like the mask back again. It wasn't the mask, but the resemblance of it. And I saw that, and I almost teared up. Like I felt the sting in my eyes, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this really brought me back. And it brought me back to thinking about Bray Wyatt again, the Fiend, that incredible moment, that incredible story, that incredible individual. Oh my God. Like when I tell you my eyes were stinging, I was like, man, that was crazy. It was such a nice moment. I'm like, man, it was such a nice thing to see, such a nice tribute, and I enjoyed it so much. And Jeff Hardy came out and he was all serious, and you could see it too. He was celebrating, but like you could see how much it meant to him as well, being able to come out with that inspired face paint on. Oh my God, it was such a nice moment. When I tell you, grown man tears almost fell down my cheek. Grown man tears almost fell down my cheek, okay? But anyhow, though, that was a really nice moment. That was one moment I'll never forget, and one moment that I really did enjoy. But besides that, though, let's get into the match itself. The match itself was absolutely incredible. The things these Hardy Boys are still able to do at the age they're at now is insane. It's crazy. Oh my God, I don't know how they can still go at this level. These boys, these Hardy Boys are on a whole different level. They're in a whole different tier. Oh my God, like it's like they keep getting better with age somehow. Man, this was such a good match. And this was a broken rules match, so basically a no disqualification match, everything goes. And this was basically a 4-on-2 in favor of the Dark State group. They were completely jumping the Hardy Boys throughout this whole match. Like the best way I could describe it is like when the Akatsuki and Naruto went to get like a tailed beast, how they jumped the Jinchuriki. That's the only way I could describe it, because it was just the Hardy Boys getting jumped right, left, and center. Jesus Christ, this was unfair. All the members of Dark State got involved, and the Hardy Boys tried to defend themselves. At some points they could, at other points the numbers were just too much, but they did everything they could. Throughout this match, though, we saw chairs, ladders, tables, kendo sticks, trash cans, and so much more. This was such a good match. And we even saw a couple crazy spots. We saw one crazy spot where the Hardy Boys hit a double leg drop swanton dive off a ladder through a table on Dark State, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, okay? These men are pushing. I don't even know what age they're pushing, but Jesus Christ, how are you moving like this? And after that, we got another crazy spot where the Hardy Boys got speared through the barricade. And let me just say, this wasn't a fight. This wasn't a match. This was a battle. These men went to war. Jesus Christ, this match was intense. And at the end of that match, we got our final crazy insane spot where Dark State hit a crazy off the top of a ladder through a table Doomsday Device finisher on Matt Hardy for the win. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. The amount of shock I was in throughout this match is insane. It's unfathomable. This was such a good match. And we even had Dark State becoming your new NXT Tag Team Champions. They got their championships back, and they said, when Dark State strikes, nobody's safe. And I enjoyed this match so much that I thought it was the final match. I even forgot about our main event, okay? But after this match, so after this incredible match, we finally made it to our main event. And the main event was the Revolution, Mr. Absolute Ricky Saints versus Whoop That Trick, Whoop that trick, oh yeah? Whoop that trick, I like it. Trick Williams himself for the men's NXT championship. And this was another really good match. We saw a lot of cool spots and moments and sequences from both of these men, and this was a really hard fought match. Trick Williams did not want to lose, and Ricky Saints could not lose, because this was a battle to see who's the real face of NXT. So these men knew what was on the line, what was at stake, and they put it all out there, and they left it all out there. They fought and clawed tooth and nail for this match, for this win, and this was such an entertaining match in my opinion. Trick Williams absolutely did his thing. That man looked like a star, and Ricky Saints did not let Trick Williams outshine him by any means. He showed up and showed that I could be a star as well. I could carry this brand. I could carry this company. Both of these men had something to prove, and they proved it tonight, okay? This was such a good match. Ricky Saints even got put through the announcer's table. Like, these boys went at it. Like I said, they went at it. But in the end, only one person could win, and only the best man could win. And Mr. Absolute, the Revolution, Ricky Saints, was able to hit a springboard spinning DDT on Trick Williams for the win, and he retained, and still your NXT Men's Champion, Ricky Saints. So that was that, and that's how the show ended, with Ricky Saints celebrating holding up the NXT Championship, and he retained, and he put Trick Williams in his place. So we officially have the face of NXT, and it is Ricky Saints, and the face of NXT is Absolute, okay? And that's how the show ended, with Ricky Saints holding up his NXT Championship and celebrating with the fans, with the crowd, and that was that. And overall, NXT Halloween Havoc, I would have to rate it a solid 8 out of 10. This was such a good show. I enjoyed it so much. This was so fun. Like I said, this was such a nicely put together show. I enjoyed all the matches. I enjoyed all the stipulations. I enjoyed all the moments we got. I enjoyed the superstars' attires. I enjoyed the shenanigans, the emotes, the dance moves, the serious stuff we got, the unserious stuff we got. This was such a good PLE. This was such a nice Halloween Havoc PLE, such a nice Oktoberfest PLE. This was so fun, okay? I enjoyed this from start to finish. This was an absolute delight. I'm kind of mad at myself that I wasn't able to watch it live, but man, that didn't take away from the experience. This was such an experience from start to finish, and I enjoyed it so much. But anyhow, though, that was your breakdown and your review of NXT Halloween Havoc. Thank you for showing up, thank you for hearing me out, and thank you for being here. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to, and like, comment, and subscribe if you choose to. As always, it's been a pleasure. I'm out.